Good morning. On this day in 1374, people in Germany were struck by a mass mania which caused them to dance around uncontrollably until they collapsed from exhaustion. The phenomenon, known as St. John's dance, was seen repeatedly in Europe until the 17th century. Its cause remains a mystery. Simultaneously, in Newcastle upon Tyne, it's 16 degrees Celsius with cloudy skies. Today, you can expect clouds and showers, with a high of 19 degrees and a low of 12 degrees. Peace. Here's the latest from your flash briefing. From BBC News.
President Trump says a ceasefire between Iran and Israel is now in effect, which he said would bring an official end to the conflict between them. He said both sides had approached him almost simultaneously and urged peace. But in the hours before the truce was announced, both sides exchanged heavy fire, with 4 people killed and 7 in Israel. Our correspondent in Washington, Jake Kwan, says President Trump quickly switched back to diplomacy after bombing Iran's nuclear sites over the weekend.
He actually had tasked his officials, Secretary Marco Rubio, as well as Special Envoy, to shuttle between Israelis and Iranians and Qataris to work out some kind of deal. And Iranians were quite keen, and they signaled strongly that they were ready to really walk away from this conflict. And the Israelis were on board after Americans have said that they destroyed the nuclear sites.
There's been no official Israeli comment yet on the ceasefire plan. People across the country were woken early by missile alerts, and explosions could be heard in Jerusalem. From there, Dan Johnson reports.
The first of 6 waves of missiles triggered sirens across Israel at 5 a.m. local time. More attacks were launched over the following 2.5 hours, and some of those missiles have evaded Israeli air defences. A direct hit was reported in Beersheba, south of Jerusalem. Firefighters confirmed 4 people were killed, and rescue teams are still searching the rubble and treating the injured. It makes talk of a ceasefire seem unreal for Israelis who've been repeatedly woken and ordered to go to air raid shelters and are now witnessing further damage and loss of life. But it looks as though these are supposed to be the last rounds of Iranian fire before a pause. It is possible, though, Israel's military will respond in the coming hours.
The Prime Minister is travelling to the NATO summit this morning with a promise that the UK will spend 5% of national income on security by 2035. The NATO Secretary-General, Mark Rutte, says the gathering in the Netherlands will agree 5% as a new baseline for members, a move he calls a quantum leap. A charity is warning that children who struggle with their speech and language are at greater risk of developing mental health problems. Speech and Language UK says almost half of young people referred to mental health services are also dealing with serious speech and language challenges. The charity says growing numbers of young